him get situated here. Recording has started, and with that, we will open the line for questions. Look in right there.
Trevor, Dennis Dodd from CBS Sports. You've been a leader, obviously, off the field for social justice. It seems like you've carried it to the next level. Are you conscious now that you've become kind of a national leader in this space?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, so I'm not a civil rights activist or an activist in general, but I just think we all carry a responsibility, and, based on who you are, what your platform is, it's different for everyone. And I just feel like just for the love of my teammates, for my friends, family, everyone I know, who I know is hurting during this time, I think it's just part of my responsibility to try to help any way I can. And then a lot of these things, the graphic we posted, that's a collaboration of a lot of different guys, definitely not just me. And I would just say, like, that's just us kind of coming together and putting something like, okay, we've been talking about change for a while, but what are some practical things that, we and other people can do to just create some change? It's not from my perspective, nothing really controversial. It's just simple things like voting, make sure everyone is, registered to vote. And then also just little things like helping out our communities, keeping the conversation going between student athletes, other students, and police departments, just to improve each of our communities, which will then hopefully, impact the whole country. But it's just little things that I feel like, and all of the other guys that put that together felt like everyone can rally around, and stuff that kind of we should already be doing. But that was just the thought behind that.
Do you think of yourself as an inspiration?
What'd you say?
Do you think of yourself as an inspiration to others now?
I never really think about it like that. I know that there's a lot of eyes on me, critics, but also, younger, generations and people looking up to me. So I guess in a way, yeah, I am conscious of that. And it's, I want to use my platform the right way and try to impact people. But like I said, I'm not an activist of any sorts, but I do think I have a responsibility to promote equality and to help the people I love.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, Trevor, it's David Hood. You mentioned, you guys might have something planned for Saturday. Is that something that you would wear on a helmet, a shirt in pregame? And is it something that you had to run by Coach Sweeney before you did it?
Yeah, for sure. We've been communicating about everything, every step of the way, from the players, the leadership group, the whole team, and also with Coach Sweeney in all of the steps. So he's been great kind of facilitating that and helping us get to where we want in that space. And it's taken a lot of collaboration. Things like this, aren't easy. Not everyone's going to get what they want, but also you have to give people a voice, and you have to empower people to do what they think will be impactful. So I think we've all worked really well together, had a lot of meetings, and there'll be some things that aren't done, for a couple games. It's just for time purposes. We can't get everything together before the first game, but there'll be some stuff, I guess, this week that you guys have noticed. I'm not sure exactly which ones will be this week and the week after. So still kind of pending on that. But I know, hopefully by the third game or so, we'll have some stuff in the works.
Hey, Travis, Trevor from CUTigers.com. Have you been able to develop a pretty good chemistry with Cade Stewart and the other new starters on that offensive line? And I imagine, going into a road environment for your opener, it's a little bit unusual this year with no fans in the stands. So that might actually be a pretty nice benefit as far as communication on the line goes.
Yeah, I feel like we have a really good relationship, a good bond. It's a little bit different with this group. I feel like I've been close in some ways to the other groups for sure, but this one's a little different just because I feel like I've had to take more of a leadership role between myself, the other quarterbacks, and the offensive line group, just because we're a little younger, have a few new starters in there, and last year we returned almost everyone, so just a little bit different this year. But we got a great group. I would like to see a better group. I think we got guys that can really play, even if they hadn't been a starter yet. They know how to play. They've had experience, and just really proud of how we've gelled together this camp. And I feel like we're in a really good spot. Obviously, got to keep getting better. Got to keep developing our depth. But man, I think we're in a good spot right now for losing a bunch of the guys from last year.
Hey, Trevor, this is David with ESPN. You kind of talked a little bit about feeling the responsibility to speak up, and that, you will always have your critics. And I'm curious what criticism is like for you on these kind of issues. Do you feel the need to kind of engage with people who wonder why you're doing this, whether it's, fans or folks back home or whatever? I mean, obviously you being as high profile as you are, you're going to get, I'm sure, your share of trolls, but your share of maybe people who just need to be educated a little bit more as well.
Yeah, and I think through this whole process, I've kind of seen, things that I've been educated on that I didn't know before that I've learned, and I think some people just need to learn some things, but also in the end, I think a lot of people want the same things. They just see things a little bit differently. Like everyone wants, for the most part, everyone wants peace. Everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants to be unified together and feel like, we do live in the best country on earth. And in the end, that's what everyone wants. But it's just hard to get there because you have so many different, whether it's media or, the far right, the far left, pushing these different narratives. So it's hard to find common ground. And I think through all this, myself, Darian, all these guys on our team and throughout college football and other teams have just said, I know we all have some differences, but let's find some things that we all agree on. And how do we start change from there? I think it's powerful that we've been able to make some decisions pretty quickly as a group, as a collective group from all over the country to push things that we want to see happen. So I think that's where you have to start is just, finding common ground. What can we agree on? And then just understanding each other's differences, but also, leaving room for people to learn, for people to change their mind, to say, maybe I thought this way before, but I've kind of changed my mind. So we just want to create situations where people can grow. We don't want to feel like we don't want to put pressure on people that they have to do something, but at the same time, I think we could all agree that the country is really not in a great place right now, and there's a lot of room for growth. No matter what side you're on, I think that's easy to see that the country's not just perfectly fine right now. So that's just my thoughts on it.
Hey, Trevor, this is Grace from The Athletic. Just as a follow-up to David's question, what have you learned when you say that there are things that you've been educated on? What sticks out?
Yeah, I just think you don't really, being a white guy from small town Georgia, you don't really know all the things that, some of the black teammates I've grown up with and that I've also met at school really go through on a daily basis. There's things that go through their head, kind of their mindset is just completely different from mine. And unless you have those conversations, which we've been forced to, everything that's going on in the country right now, you just don't really know those things. You don't learn them. So, I've learned their perspective. They've learned mine. And I think it's made it easier for us to have conversations because they know, coming from where I'm from, where I grew up, my family, it's just different. We experience different things. So I think that's been the starting point for us was let's just understand each other first. And then let's talk about how we see change, what we think could get better. And I feel like it's been really positive.
Hey, Trevor, Josh from the Post-Courier. You said earlier you noted earlier how you're not an activist, not a civil rights activist. Why is it important for you to make that distinction in describing what you've been doing over the last few months?
Yeah, I think like I was just talking about, the people on both sides, far right, far left, whatever you want to call it, is just that can be a slippery slope when you go down some trails, and I don't want to ever be used as a political pawn. That's not what I want. So I just love people, and I want to see the advancement of all people. I want people to be equal, and that's where I stand. So I felt like some of the things that I've done are some of the best ways that I can show that I support my teammates. It's not like I'm necessarily aligning with any one side of politics or the other. It's just, hey, I love my teammates, I love my friends, and I see that they're hurting. So how can I support them, emotionally and personally, but also publicly? So I think these are some ways that I've been able to do that. And like I said, all these things that have come out, my name kind of gets put on them. And yes, I do agree with them, or I wouldn't endorse them, but they're not just my ideas. And, people kind of make me the face of everything, but it's really collaboration with a ton of other people. And honestly, I'm not doing as much work as they are. So I think Dylan Bowles from Stanford has done a great job of just organizing people and putting us in situations where we can communicate clearly all together and make decisions. And then also, Darian Rencher, obviously I can't speak highly enough of him. He's done a great job kind of leading the charge on all of this as well. So, and those are just two of them. There's a ton of other people that I could name that I don't have time to name right now. But like I said, it's easy to put my face and name on everything, but that's not really it. But I do support these things.
You mentioned you don't want to be used as a political pawn. Do you feel like you have to this point? Has that come close to happening, or not as much?
Not necessarily. I just know, I just know through the world of social media and media in general, you see things, and if someone does something, they automatically, align that with a certain view, belief, or whatever. And that's just not how I see the world. Just because someone says something or agrees with something, that doesn't mean that that automatically falls under everything that this belief could fall under. So that might be kind of confusing how I answered it, but I've seen it happen with other people where they've been politicized and kind of thrown into this, one party or another to try to support them. So I just don't want that to be me necessarily.
Trevor, it's been obviously the things you've detailed. It's been a really long, crazy off season with a lot of things to be concerned about. Does any of that take away from the football side of it? And are you confident that you and this team are ready to do what you can do on the football field?
Yeah, we feel really good. I think we've had a really good camp. It's been a little bit different than the ones in the past, just structured differently. But I think we're in a really good place. Obviously, there's been a lot going on, and I think now we're at the spot where we can focus a little bit more on football. We still have these other things, on the table that we're looking to do down the line. But I think we've all come to an agreement as a team, like, okay, now it's time to play. And we've been getting ready, but now it's time to put all of our focus kind of on that, because, we play this weekend, so we all want to be prepared and do what we know we're capable of. So, but yeah, it doesn't take away from, we're still super excited. If you would have asked us a month ago if we would have been playing now, we would have told you we had no idea. So we're just excited to get one game and go from there. Hopefully we get 10 more, but honestly, who knows at this point. But we're just excited to go play.
Trevor, Brad Singham here from Clemson SI and WCCP. When you're getting ready for this game, you're thinking about what this offense is going to look like. And you got new guys on offensive line that you talked about. You got some new receivers. You still got Travis Etienne, obviously, in the backfield with you. But what do you anticipate this first game kind of looking like? You feel like you guys are going to be clicking on all cylinders? You feel like it's going to take some time with some of these new guys you're throwing to? How do you anticipate Saturday going for the offense?
I think it's going to go really well. We expect a lot of ourselves. I think that's why we've been able to play at such a high level, is because we do expect to play really well. Coach Swinney always says, you don't have to play perfect, but you got to play well. And that's just been, kind of our motto, what we say. So, we expect to play well. I think we will. But, the first game's always tough because the team you're playing, you only have last year's film. They've had a whole offseason to make changes, to change structure, change scheme, all of those things. So you don't really know for sure what you're going to get. So it's, you're kind of just going off, what you think. But at the end of the day, the team that executes their offense, their defense to the best and just makes adjustments is going to win. So.
Any other questions for Trevor?
Trevor, it's Grace again from The Athletic. I just wanted to ask you, when was the first time you really realized your platform was as large as it is?
So much stuff has happened this offseason. It's kind of hard to even think about everything collectively. Probably when we did the peaceful demonstration here on campus. I think that was really powerful for me and for a bunch of my teammates and the community, and just seeing how you can do something positive, try to make change, use your voice, and it really does matter. And then from there, that kind of propelled me into all this other stuff that we've been able to do, as far as the We Want to Play campaign that we started with all the other guys from around the country. And then now this little action plan of, how do we realistically, step by step, make a little bit of change in our own communities. I think all those things have kind of built on each other. And it's been cool to try to figure out, I have this voice, but I don't want to be the person that just uses it for things that people tell me I should. I want to believe in what I'm doing. And that's where I'm still kind of trying to figure out that line of I have this voice, so people are always going to expect me to say something about everything that happens. But in the end, you just can't. You can't address everything. You can't.
What is it?
Do what?
Trevor, this is Dennis Dodd again. Could
Oh,
you give a,
sorry, I thought someone said something to stop what I was saying.
No, I think it was a mistake. I think somebody just chimed in.
I kind of forget where I was at now. Go ahead. You're good.
No, go ahead.
Sorry for whoever asked that previous question. I kind of lost my train of thought.
You want to finish? Well, could you give a shout out to the guys you are collaborating with? You just mentioned a couple of them, a guy at Stanford and maybe some others.
Oh man, it's a lot. It's Hunter Reynolds out of Michigan. Like I said, Dylan, Darian, Dallas out of Washington State. 3 or 4 guys from Oregon. Got Kayvon, Panay, a few other guys. Kind of blanking a little bit, but there's probably honestly like roughly 20 or 30. Some more involved than others, but all kind of collaborating. So that's just
Kayvon Thibodeau, just to be sure, Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're going to have some time to kill on Saturday before your game that night. Are you going to be able to watch Chase make his first start against Notre Dame?
Definitely. Yeah. What is that game? I think it's at 2:30. Is that right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. I told him, I was talking on the phone with him a few nights ago. I think it was this weekend. I told him, hey, I'm going to be watching your game as much as I can. I mean, we'll probably get a half in or so, but I'm so excited to see him play. Just to see him do what he's been doing here, but hasn't really had the opportunity to do it every Saturday. So I'm really excited for him and can't wait to watch him.
Hey, Trevor, David with ESPN. I remember last year, I don't know, maybe midway through the year, you talking about how some of the off-the-field criticism, maybe you kind of felt you had something to prove early last year, or that it was in your head a little bit at times last year. And then you look at what, as you just said, this offseason probably feels like it's been a million years with all the stuff that's happened. Can you kind of put into context how much different your mindset is approaching year 3 as it was as you were going into last year?
I just feel like I'm a lot more focused internally. I have goals for myself, for this team. And really, the only responsibility I feel is to just do my best to play well. Obviously, I think that's a byproduct of everything, but to do my best, whether that's in preparation, leading, and then actually performing, and really just want to enjoy this year. As crazy as it's been, we're in a spot now. We finally get to do what we love, get to play some football, and just want to enjoy it. You never know which one's going to be your last game, your last season, all those things. So I really just want to enjoy it. Obviously, I want to play well. I want to prove to myself what I can do, and I feel confident in myself and in this team. I think we're in a really good position right now.
Hey, Trevor, this is Todd Shaughnessy in Spartanburg. I'm wondering what you think you need to get better at before you go pro.
I think that's a long list, but just things off the top of my head, I think some of the stuff I've worked on this offseason, goes into that too. But some footwork things, pocket presence towards the end of the year got a little rough. Accuracy, just consistent accuracy. So those are 3 things just off the top of my head. And then just something that everyone can always get better at, especially at quarterback, is just knowledge. Keep learning. Never get in a spot where you think you know it all. And that's what I've done this offseason, is kind of start over and say, all right, I want to relearn everything, but just more detailed. And with the help of coaches and teammates, we've done a really good job of getting everyone on the same page. And I feel like our offense is in a really good spot as far as just detail oriented. I think we all know these little details that make a huge difference. And we saw last year, some of those times it kind of hurt us when we weren't on the same page. And I feel like the coaches have done a really good job this year of, making sure we're all communicating, have the details down, and just all the little tweaks in the game plan. I feel like we're on the same page.
Hey, Trevor, this is Mark at WYFF. This is a little way down the road, but in the plan for change that you guys posted over the weekend, it said wanting to have Election Day free of athletic obligation. I know that'll be the Notre Dame week for you guys. Is that something you've already talked with Dabo about not having any obligations that Tuesday?
Yeah, we had a conversation, and that was more of so on the graphic, I know just from being at Clemson, our perspective, how we had a talk with Coach Sweeney, and that was more of just having opportunity on November 3rd, like a lot of time, because like you said, it's Notre Dame week. I don't think that's the smartest thing to just not practice on that day. So Coach Sweeney said he will give us, ample time to vote. He'll make sure we have a window. And, we were like, yeah, perfectly fine. Everyone just can take advantage of that, go vote. And so we're on the same page there. But that was more of just like a PSA, hey, give your guys opportunity to vote. Don't fill the day up with things where they have, obligations where they can't go vote. So we don't want to have that as an excuse for people not voting. So, but yeah, we talked to Coach Sweeney, and he said he'll give us the time that day to vote. So we're not really worried about it. Who knows? We'll get the whole day off. Probably not, because we don't really want that. We want to be prepared for the game. So.
Any other questions for Trevor?
Hello, Trevor.
Right. Go ahead.
Okay. This is Tyrese with Clemson Sports Talk. Just lately, in most of the offseason, players have been opting out. You're projected as top pick of the draft. So how tough has it been to ignore all of that that's going on, and how important was it to you to play this season?
It was really important. I'll start with your first question. I think as far as just I wanted this decision to be something that I made. It was what I wanted. It was what I believed in. I didn't want what other people did to influence that. And yeah, I've kind of taken into consideration all of the, what are the pros, cons of each. But really, at the end of the day, I love football. I love playing football. And I didn't feel personally, everyone feels different. I didn't feel like I was at more risk playing football here than I would be just living in general. So I was like, man, I want to play football. Who knows? This could be my last year here. I want to enjoy it with my teammates. And really, we've been working so hard for this season. And for one, we have a really good team. So that's one thing we're excited for. But two, just getting one last year in college, I mean, it's a special time. And I think all the things at the next level are awesome. And there will be, I'll be grateful for them when they come. But, you don't really get this time back. So that's been my thought process through it. And obviously see some other guys have opted out. Definitely respect that. And there are definitely some positives to that for them. But personally, I felt like in the grand scheme of things in my life, this was something that I didn't want to look back on and wish that I had, stuck around and played another year. I want to soak it all up and get as much out of it as I can.
All right. With that, thank you, Trevor. We'll have Jackson Carmen up in approximately 5 minutes.
Thank you all.